Hello, everyone. How are you? Why, thank you. Today we are going to be, doing the behind the scenes stuff. What's this? The frick is this? Alright, but we're going to be doing the behind the scenes stuff starting with issue 2. Because I have already made a video on issue 1. And in the stream / YouTube video, because this will be a YouTube video, get your hey YouTubes out of the way right now. But yeah, no, we're gonna be going over pretty much everything that went on behind the scenes, as well as going over some memes that we got along the way. So, should be fun. Alright, so, starting off, this number is an Easter egg to when I first got into TF2 on my new Steam account, after I got my old one scammed. But I got into it September 30th of 2022. And since then, oh boy. Since then, I have put in quite a few hours into TF2. And these establishing shots, and those establishing shots were the ones used at the end of the first issue. Anyways.
About what's going on, and then we gotta try and tell Blue Team.
You sure? If respawn machines are down, I doubt they'll be too happy to see us.
I know they won't, but we need to at least try. I'm equipping the Dead Ringer just in case.
And another thing I'm going to point out is that B and Rad, the way they're stanced up. Rad is more brawny in how he's standing, while B is more lean. And that's to show that B is much more sleek, cool, and fast, while Rad is more brutal, like, he is a lot more brute strength than B is. And then we have this shot, which I'm still really proud of. And I didn't get this from I didn't get a behind the scenes screenshot of this, but in the behind the scenes, B's arm actually stretches heavily here.
But I just got here.
I voiced this scout, unfortunately.
I need to get paid. I got bills to pay, man.
Alright. If you want to get paid, you kind of need to be alive. So unless you want to have a high probability of dying for good, leave.
Okay, Fancy Pants, why should we listen to you?
But this brings into why B's voice changed at the end of issue 1, being my voice for him initially was just my normal voice, but if I wanted to continue this as a series, I would need to change the voice for him so that it's not as easily recognizable in other characters.
Me and my assistant are with Vec. We were just burning off some steam after our shift. Oi, Heavy. Make sure that everyone gets out, will you?
I thought this was a funny bit, but also, like, I really shouldn't have done this. With the 30 FPS Heavy, with the 12 FPS B.
No, don't come back. Just go home. Me and Rattle.
Because you can really see the green screens here because of the light.
Bliss.
It's a good thing they didn't ask for an ID to prove you're back.
Yeah, I mean, even so, I do have a forged ID for Vec.
And, this... I set this up in issue 2, just so that there's a payoff in issue 3 when he shows the fake ID. Just because... It's silly, it's stupid, it's funny. But before we continue on, I do want to point out
After our shift.
how Rad reacts. Reacts to B just blatantly lying that he's with Vec. How he looks away kind of guiltily. And how that's intentional because Rad doesn't like lying. He will lie if he needs to, but he doesn't necessarily like it.
B! That's illegal!
At this point in the story, Rad has been mostly unaware of how much illegal stuff B has done, just because B hid it from him.
And what's going on here is also illegal.
But also, Rad immediately gets over it just because, 1, B makes a good point that what's going on here is also illegal, and 2, he knows that B is on the VAC blacklist because of how many times he's escaped.
I want the XP.
Fun fact. This bit with the I want the XP, that has been a legitimate thing I have said multiple times when I should abandon a match, but I don't. Also, I'm going to point out now that, yes, they do B does find out later that this is not caused by a stand user, and that brings up the question of why isn't this common knowledge? And it's because most people don't really care how servers run. For them, the server runs. That is enough for them. And B and Rad are the same way. So they just didn't know. Also, this is the point in Unusual Rove where you can really start to tell that I was experimenting with lighting. Like, just with how scenes were lit. Like this one, where even though it doesn't really make any sense, it's lit under the stairs to create these cool shadows. And also,
I guess so.
and also, you can see them cautiously going up the stairs, and Brad even turning around. Just to show that they are in sync. Like, this scene, these scenes with B and Rad interacting alone, like, this is just supposed to reinforce that they are brothers by bond. Just in case it wasn't clear enough in issue 1.
Is your team actually dead, or is that...
And then this is a subtle reference to MS's Blue, with the warm light on the right and the cold light on the left. And this is another case...
We only know where to go.
This is another case of me not explaining things when they are relevant. But here B is using Reconstruct, obviously, to piece together who was in this spawn room. Because how he does it is how Reconstruct really works is that he can put... It's kind of like Connor's Reconstruct from Detroit Become Human. In fact, that's what it's based on. But if there is a corpse present, he can just rebuild exactly what happened by looking at what they saw right before they died. And Reconstruct by clues is different in the fact that he needs to find enough clues to piece together what happened. He acknowledges that B has a stand. And in fact, that's actually what convinces him to go with B and Rad in the first place. Because he is a stand user and he knows that his boyfriend is also a stand user, and so he needs their help to get John back. Welcome to the Unusual Rove stream, yes. Now continuing on, I'm gonna quickly explain how B and Rad are even able to get into the spawn room, and it's because one, it's disabled, because of the server being all sorts of messed up, but also, most of the time, they don't even actually have a barrier to prevent the other team from going in. It's just kind of common courtesy to just not go into the other team's spawn room unless given express permission, like if the server is friendly. World building that is never explained in the actual show.
We can't let you come with us.
I'm going to point out that this is, you know, showcasing the behavioral pattern of B taking charge and Rad being left in the shadow. And that's actually where his character arc is. Brad's character arc is learning to step out of B's shadow.
I don't care. I don't got much to live for. That's a quick comp fragging. And this barely pays. I don't got much to pay.
Okay, so for reference, comp fragging pays about double what Kaz fragging does. And how hold on. Let me open MS Paint.
So for Kaz fragging, and for both, I'm gonna just... Both are paid based on points. So...
That is a hashtag.
So money, like how much they get paid is based off of the points that they have. And Kaz, so basically like if you get like 100 points in Kaz fragging, that is equal to 100 keys. And so this is a very popular job because it can pay well if you are skilled. But comp fragging, because Cas fragging is basically an entry-level job, everybody can get into it. And so, because of that, there's a lot of noobs, and so it's very easy for very skilled people to get a lot of money. But for comp fragging, this basically just has a base times 2 multiplier. So basically, if you get 100 points here, that is equal to 200 keys. And the reason why is because of that times 2 multiplier. And the reason why that times 2 multiplier even exists is because of the fact there's going to be more experienced players in comp because of the fact that it is locked off until you've done about 5 years of Cas fragging. And so, because of that, it's a big deal when Mills brings up that he was a former comp fragger. Because that means that he has experience and he can defend himself. Is anybody lost? I know I'm throwing a lot of words at you, and I'm trying my best here with the
pirate software method of just drawing it out, because that is gonna be easy to kind of visualize it better. I like your funny words, Magic Woman. That's basically how fragging, like, payments and stuff work in this world. Anyways, let's get back to actually doing unusual Rove trivia. Okay, so you notice this a lot in the earlier episodes where I do machinima, and it's because I ran out of ideas for animation. So I just do machinima just to have something to show.
You call me Mills, by the way. V Mills.
And V Mills is a reference to an artist by the same name, Little V Mills. Anyways.
I'll get it to you once we've killed B and Rat.
So, she's got a new partner. And from the sound of it, it's not a standability that disabled the server.
What about...
Okay, so when I was showing this to like test audiences, like people were like, okay, so wouldn't they smell B coming because of the cigarette? And I'm like, well, if you hold your horses,
It's not a standability that disabled the server.
B, make sure to put out the cigarette.
I tried.
Also, Sonic the Hedgehog. I had one person that I showed this to. Say that, like, tell me that there's no footsteps here, and I'm like, yeah, that's intentional. Because B is a spy, and spies know how to walk quietly.
Well, second, long time no see, huh? 2 years ago, wasn't it?
And this entire scene is just to show off B's manipulation tactics, and how he's just a master rage baiter.
You did try to kill me and Rat.
Because he's only bringing it up repeatedly that B and Rat are innocent in what happened 2 years ago. He's only bringing it up repeatedly because he knows that it will piss Neon off.
And then you ganged up.
Because you were trying to kill us.
Will you quit that?
One frame joke of, get a load of this, girl! Okay, so this right here, Rad's voice actor complained to me, Rad doesn't have anything really cool about him. And I'm like, screw it. You can now cook rice in 29 seconds. And this is just a gag thing, but Rad was very happy that I did that.
The respawn machines are down.
That's unfortunate.
I had so many people, like, openly display disgust at the lick, and I'm like, that's the point. It's supposed to be unsettling. And to its credit, it does a really good job at making you, the instant you see the soldier, like, you already know that he's the 2-4 cannibal, if the trailers didn't spoil it. But
Sure hope nobody's died.
they don't know it.
Will die.
Let me out
This is still one of my favorite moments.
with my stand. Bad habits.
named after the song by Ed Sheeran.
God.
Alright, and that brings us to the first meme. I have this folder that I always make when creating an unusual Rove episode, being the memes we found along the way, and let me just show off the first of these. So here it is. This is how it looked behind the camera.
Come on, that can't be all you've got.
Man, I'm bored.
And there is a reference in the impact frames here. You know, like in Spider-Verse. I want to point out that I did some, like, actual, like, I watched some sword fighting videos just to see how, like, sword fighting actually looks.
If he touches you, he can drain your blood.
I should have that meme somewhere still. So, let me just, again, turn on display capture so that you can actually see. I may be a cannibal, but at least I'm not rude.
The cannibal? Let's up this crits, yeah?
Aha, you've been japed. It was different to what you were expecting. And the reason why I did this is because I didn't want to animate another fight scene. Okay, so I did render that in Blender, only because I couldn't do it in SFM for one reason. This is not how the bandana looks in SFM. Like, it has this middle part filled in SFM and an actual TF2. And so it just didn't look right. And I tried to, you can see that I tried to render fire, but it didn't work. I'm going to quickly explain how the bandana works. So basically the bandana is the intrusive thoughts, and the intrusive thoughts win. They will always win when you're under the bandana's control. But it demands blood, and it demands man flesh. Because their species is not human, their species is man. I want to point out that in this scene, I have highlighted John in blue the whole time while Mills is yellow highlighted.
A part of me wants to join that spot.
Puda's heavy back here.
We gotta go.
So these alternate outfits are actually here because their normal outfit, or at least B's normal outfit, didn't work properly on this map. So I just figured I might as well change Rad's as well.
Alright, females. Welcome to the party. Just know that the Rove we travel is an unusual one.
He said it! He said the thing!
Yes.
You'd be surprised at the amount of people that don't know that I actually voiced Tagamo.
If he lives,
This scene was animated before everything else in the issue, so
I know. However, I can change that.
the lighting here is reference to Emesis Blue.
If you can't kill me,
Okay, so to explain this, the reason why Tagamo wouldn't corrupt Neon is because they would still have their stand after they're corrupted, and he cannot fully he can basically how he controls the corrupted is just pointing them in the general direction of where he wants them to go. That is the extent that he can control them.
You will kill him, or you will die!
oh, and Neon. I hope for you.
I cannot make any TF2 media without this existing in it. The obligatory how-to sex joke. And it's funny because Tagamo is canonically a virgin because he's a narcissist. Virgin by default due to superiority complex. Exactly.